Freddie Mercury, the iconic lead singer of Queen, is celebrated as one of rock music's most versatile and captivating performers. He gained widespread recognition for his mock operatic masterpiece, Bohemian Rhapsody, which also inspired the title of the 2018 biopic that chronicled his life. You can't talk about rock music without mentioning the legendary Freddie Mercury, the man with a voice that could make even the heavens tremble. Born as Farrokh Bulsara on September 5, 1946, in Zanzibar, now Tanzania, Freddie's early life was as colorful and unique as his later career. His family, of Parsi descent, fled to England when Freddie was still a child due to political unrest. It was here in England that the seeds of his musical genius began to sprout, but little did anyone know that Freddie was destined for something greater than the ordinary. Born to Parsi parents who had emigrated from India to Zanzibar, Freddie Mercury spent his early years in a household where his father worked as a clerk for the British government. Showing artistic talent from a young age, he was sent to a boarding school in Panchgani, Maharashtra, India, where he formed a band and played the piano. In 1964, when Zanzibar became part of the newly independent Tanzania, Bulsara and his family relocated to Feltham, England. He later pursued graphic art and design at Ealing Technical College and School of Art, now the University of West London, graduating in 1969. In 1969, Freddie Mercury became the lead singer of a band called Ibex. After performing with a few other groups, he eventually teamed up with the musicians who would later form Queen. Freddie Mercury was born with 4 extra teeth at the back of his mouth, which gave him his iconic buck-toothed smile. As a child, he was even nicknamed Bucky because of it. Despite his distinctive grin, Mercury chose not to have his teeth corrected, fearing it might affect his remarkable 4-octave vocal range. However, he was often self-conscious about his teeth, frequently covering his upper row with his lip or hand while on camera. Freddie Mercury met his future bandmates, drummer Roger Taylor and guitarist Brian May, shortly after moving to London in the 1960s. When Staffel left the band in 1970, Mercury stepped in as the lead singer. In early 1971, bassist John Deacon joined, and the 4-member group performed their first show that same year. Despite their efforts, they struggled to attract interest from record labels. It wasn't until 2 years later that Queen released their self-titled debut album, which included the classic track, Keep Yourself Alive. Despite their impressive vocal harmonies and virtuosic guitar work, Queen initially struggled to gain recognition outside the UK. However, their 1974 album, Sheer Heart Attack, climbed the international charts, followed by even greater success with A Night at the Opera in 1975. The latter featured the iconic Bohemian Rhapsody, primarily written by Mercury, which topped the British singles chart for 9 weeks and helped highlight the music industry's potential for video promotion. By 1977, hits like We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You became anthems at sports events in both Britain and the US. By the early 1980s, Queen had become a global sensation, known for their elaborate live performances and Mercury's commanding stage presence. Although their commercial success began to decline by the mid-1980s, they delivered a legendary performance at the 1985 Live Aid concert. That year, Mercury also released the disco-influenced solo album Mr. Bad Guy, contributed to the soundtrack of the sci-fi musical Time, 1986, and collaborated with Spanish soprano Montserrat Cabal on the semi-operatic album Barcelona, 1988. Mercury enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, indulging in champagne and art collection, famously spending over $400,000 on a set of hand-painted china. Known for his love of parties, he once celebrated his birthday by flying friends to Ibiza, complete with fireworks and flamenco dancing. Though he lived most of his life in the public eye, Freddie was famously private about his personal affairs. Behind the glitter and the elaborate costumes, Mercury was a complex man who wrestled with his identity. Born to a conservative Parsi family, he often felt pressure to conform to societal norms, which was at odds with his more flamboyant and free-spirited personality. In the early 70s, Freddie had a long-term relationship with Mary Austin, who would become one of the most important people in his life. Although the pair eventually split when Freddie realized his attraction to men, they remained close friends until his death. In fact, Freddie once said that Mary was his common-law wife and left her a significant portion of his estate after his passing. As Freddie's fame grew, so did speculation about his personal life. He was openly bisexual during a time when such openness was often frowned upon. In the 1980s, he started a relationship with Jim Hutton, who remained by his side until the very end. In the late 1980s, whispers about Freddie's health began circulating in the media. At the time, the AIDS epidemic was in full swing, and Freddie's increasingly frail appearance only fueled rumors. Despite mounting speculation, Freddie remained tight-lipped about his health, only confirming that he had AIDS in a statement released the day before his death. Many criticized him for not coming forward sooner, but Freddie was determined not to let his illness define him or his music. Freddie's influence extended beyond music. He quietly supported several charitable causes throughout his life, but his most notable contribution came posthumously. Following his death, the remaining members of Queen, along with Mary Austin, set up the Mercury Phoenix Trust, an organization dedicated to fighting HIV/AIDS worldwide. The trust has since raised millions to support AIDS research, education, and awareness programs. At the time of his death in 1991, Freddie Mercury had amassed quite a fortune. His net worth was estimated to be around $50 million, which is even more impressive considering that Queen's music sales and royalties have only skyrocketed since then. Much of his estate, including his mansion in Kensington, was left to Mary Austin, who remains one of the key figures responsible for preserving Freddie's legacy today. Before his passing, Freddie Mercury collaborated in the studio with Queen, and these recordings were posthumously released in 1995 on Made in Heaven, the band's final album featuring all the original members. Although he was gone, Mercury's legacy lived on as this collection of his last performances topped the British charts. In 2001, both Mercury and Queen were honored for their significant contributions to American music history with their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Freddie Mercury's death on November 24, 1991, marked the end of an era, but his music continues to live on. Even decades later, his voice, his energy, and his sheer charisma remain unmatched. Queen's music is still loved by generations of fans, and films like Bohemian Rhapsody, 2018, have helped introduce Freddie's genius to a whole new audience. At the end of the day, Freddie Mercury was a larger-than-life figure who shattered stereotypes and pushed musical boundaries. He was a rock star in every sense of the word, but he was also a man who loved deeply and lived authentically. His story is one of passion, artistry, and resilience, a story that will continue to inspire for generations to come. In the words of Freddie himself, "I won't be a rock star, I will be a legend." And that he certainly was. Well, that's a wrap for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it engaging, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stay updated with more captivating content, hit that red subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from us. Your support means everything.